Google solves browser fingerprinting by doing away with FLoC and introducing topics. Peter's going to tell us all about it. Today's Not So Critical Update.
I love how off that introduction was. Thank you, Mike. It's they haven't solved browser fingerprinting at all, and it's not really related to that. But it kind of is. It's a way of anyway. This is, if you guys aren't familiar with FLoC, it's this thing that Google tried to introduce recently called federated learning of cohorts. And what it is that what it was suggested was that when you go to websites and Chrome records your history, it will generate a kind of ID and put you in a little cohort. And that means that you will the websites that you go and see will know what that cohort ID is, and other people in the same cohort as you can then be served similar ads. So this is just a way of being able to target people about ads. It was a horrendous privacy nightmare, and everybody hated it. So sorry, I've been told not to do the whole intro, so I was actually just totally forgot about that. I mean, literally 5 minutes ago, Mike told just like podcast dad said, just wait until your fingers burn from a match, and I'm like,
no, I said I will burn your fingers with a match if you talk so long.
Right. No, let me explain this because it's kind of interesting. I think it is anyway. Fuck you guys.
That's this whole show.
That's literally the whole show.
Yeah. Hi, Dad. Sorry, I swore. So, FLoC thing kind of went away, and now Google have come right back and said, you know what, that FLoC thing, bad idea, terrible idea. What we should do is have topics instead. So what happens is that instead of giving you a cohort ID, and then that ID will represent which kind of other users have similar interests to you, you just straight up give a list of things that you you like browsing to the site. And that's it.
It sounded from reading like the article that the topics were going to be managed more by the browser than something that was central to Google. Did you pick that up, or do you think I was misinterpreting that?
No, that's true. It's going to be a lightweight machine learning thing inside the browser, which will calculate. There's IAB, is this interactive advertising bureau, and they have a taxonomy, which is a collection of categories. There's about 350, and the browser will kind of figure out what sort of stuff you're interested in, like cars or porn. Or
question:
whatever.
Do you know if the topics has been launched? Are they doing it already? Has it been?
No, they've just announced it. They have been talking to industry relevant people in the industry, and now they're putting it out for sort of consultation with relevant parties, like public review kind of thing. There's I think called an explainer that they have, which is like how it technically works, and there's just been a lot of comments on it.
Something semi-related, which is why I asked, was I use an Android phone, and I shamefully use Google News, which is a feature where you can swipe past your home screen and it'll aggregate news and topics that you're interested in through your Google search.
Yeah.
So for some reason, Google thinks that I'm Indian.
You've been using VPNs, mate. I bet you. VPNs.
No. No VPNs. That's not what this is at all. I'll tell you the problem. So I have a OnePlus branded phone. OnePlus is huge in India. I think, yeah, it's huge there. I think that Google is putting me in a little group of OnePlus users and assuming that that's what I want to read. So they give me local Indian news about like Indian government and like economy and just random shit. And every time I'm like, I'm not interested in the domestic issues that India is facing. No offense to India, all good here, but I'm not Indian.
Attribution data at work here. This is great targeting. Yeah,
and not learning.
So I keep saying I'm not interested. I keep saying I'm like not interested in this. I'm not interested in India. Like, hello.
So what does that targeting look like? How are you getting targeted by who?
Well, by Google. This is Google directly aggregating these news
So
sources.
what are they where are you seeing those ads in search history and recommended?
Oh
What?
no, they're not ads. They're news articles. So they look like this.
Oh, okay.
They look like this,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And you can just keep scrolling, and
And
more and more news about things that you've searched
Yeah.
will pop up. So like, let's say I search for cryptocurrency, then Google's like, oh, he's interested in cryptocurrency. We're gonna tag that as a keyword for him.
And that's the
right?
Google News app that you're using?
That's it's not even an app. It's integrated into the phone. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, you think that's got to be a setting somewhere. So, but Peter, so
Right, but I'm not Indian.
Are you sure? I mean, Google knows an awful lot about you.
They do.
Am I going to take your word for it? I'm going to trust Google. Google
Look,
probably knows more
Israel,
about you.
just because Israel and India have a really strong bond and relationship doesn't mean that all Israelis are Indians, and vice versa.
John, you haven't made billions of dollars through targeting people on your advertising platform. I mean, but Google
has.
So,
that's a good point. Pretty much invalidates everything I just said. I guess I am Indian, and
might as well just accept it.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the massive problems with all this fucking data is that, sorry, Dad, is that it's, don't laugh. He's very serious about this kind of thing,
Very serious.
I got him to swear the other day and he apologized. He's like, oh, you got me to swear. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, this is one of the problems. Resetting this information, like fixing it, is impossible. You can't go in and say, hey, you know what? I'm not actually Indian. I mean, that I know of. Have you checked with your? I mean,
I am not Indian. Like I'm certain. I'm as certain as Google. Okay.
I do kind of wonder if that could be the case, though, that there is a setting somewhere.
But he's actually Indian.
No. That there's a setting on the phone someplace that says that's giving them that impression.
No, it's absurd. I actually do think that Google looks at my OS and they see that I'm running Oxygen OS, which is OnePlus Android flavor, whatever, and they see that it's a OnePlus phone, and they're like, oh. Statistically speaking, there's like 95% Indians running this phone, so let's just group him with the rest. I'm certain.
It's probably not that, but that's probably one of the key things. There's probably like 3 data points which are kind of related. But to bring this back to Google Topics.
Thank you. Please.
Let's wrap around.
Because I still have a question.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Bring this back. So this is going to happen with Google Topics, because the way it works is that if you go to Site A, and it works with iframes, so that you can embed an ad network below it, which is, I don't know, whatever, add double-click.net. And it will, double-click will know that you're visiting Site A. But what can actually happen is that you go to somewhere that embeds 2 different places, and it can embed some, I don't know, hate content or something, because I know that's the kind of thing that John
interesting.
Yeah. And
not the hate content, just the idea.
Yeah, interesting. What? Tell me more about that sites, please. And what will happen is you can kind of piggyback on the interest things that the was set by the first site.
So are you saying?
Oh, this is actually a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that somebody's interest could be influenced by content they don't actually see because it's hidden in an iframe on the site?
Yeah, kind of. And there's a potential, like, sites are going to start embedding data from all sorts of other things, or all sorts of other data. They did it already, but they're going to do it with iframes, and then you're going to get tagged along with that content type. And then
how is it
the ad networks,
advertiser advantage to artificially identify you as having interests you don't have, so that they can later target you on those interests?
Not for the actual advertiser, but for the ad networks. Anything that gets a lot of views and costs a lot of money to show ads for.
So your theory is that they will have $1 million worth of dog food ads, and in order to sell those ads, they'll artificially create dog food content on all the sites that people who aren't actually looking for dog food visit, that make it seem like they're actually interested in dog food.
Well, no. The way it works is that the content creators are going to be incentivized to embed content from popular sites on their site, so that they get served ads which they then get paid for. But they're going to want to get paid the most that they can do. So they're going to get content from sites which is not relevant to.
I'm skeptical of that, but we'll see if it happens.
Ad fraud is insane.
No,
Like, the amount
I
of
understand
money-
that. I just don't see that that relationship doesn't make sense to me as an advertiser. Like I don't see that chain of events. Like I
You're not
understand the ad
malicious
fraud.
enough.
I'm not ambitious enough. That's probably true.
Malicious, not
oh.
ambitious. Oh god.
But whatever. It's not malicious if you just want to make money. Then it's just capitalism. It's fine.
Agreed,
Don't worry
brother.
about it.
Greed, brother.
So
No,
so if
not
topics are
greed.
managed by the browser, isn't that better because it's not getting sent back into some central repository someplace?
Yes, it's slightly better, but it's still
Sorry, the music
awful.
already started. We're done with the segment, Peter.
It's an improvement, but it's still terrible. It's a cross-site script, cross-site data issue built into the browser. It's another,
which
it's not
is a
solving
vulnerability.
browser.
How? I didn't read that in the article.
It's sharing data about your browsing habits, even just a general idea with sites that ask for it.
But you're asserting that it can't tell the difference between hidden embedded iframes and the main content of the site.
That's a separate problem. It's a separate problem. The incentivization of federated content is a different thing, and that's irrelevant to the main problem, which is that there's. So I thought we just kind of got onto that. That it's sending data about your interests to a site.
Wow.
To.
So you're saying like,
yeah,
this is bad.
What happens now? Yes, I am saying it's bad. I don't think a site should know or need to know, or I don't think they have any right to know what I'm interested in, even if it's.
But
one
I
of
use
350
Brave, so
categories.
how exposed am I?
Brave, you're not going to be. Brave won't support it.
Right.
There's the JavaScript API, and it just says